Hello people. Today we're going to do my Alchemist build video.
By the mechanoids. Most of the
I've mastered all the abilities and talents of the Alchemist, and this is the mastery costume.
Eliminate all the mechanoids.
It's a chemical protection suit. You see the Alchemist has two arms that shoot acid people. Let's demonstrate if we can. On a few mobs here. Turrets. Then I'll go over the skills and abilities I'm using for the Alchemist. There's some basic AoE and pack monster tactics there. Trying to get this bonus objective, get the mechanoids in this field. Oh, there's a bunch of them. This is on hard difficulty, the Palon prototype factory. We got that objective. Everything's working out fine. Spray them with chemicals. Single target, stack 8 catalysts on. And then right click, have it explode, mixing the chemicals. Alright, so let's go to the abilities. I chose Creeping Horror because I haven't really used any talents in this. It costs twice as much, but does about twice as much damage. So it's just faster, get things done. And then Toxic Emission is that AoE where I spin around and shoot acid. The Protective Membrane reflects damage back and protects me from damage when I'm using it. Hold it down. Very useful to block large attacks and to do damage to groups that are attacking you when you're in trouble. And then I use Bio Trap on larger enemies that need a lot of damage. That you throw a bunch of flasks like a mad scientist, and it does damage and increases the damage they take for the next 10 seconds by 45%. And this can work for everyone in a group, so it's a good support ability for when your group wants to do their burst damage, like a kinetic gets his burst rotation going and you throw out a bio trap to increase what he's doing with his abilities. Everyone tries to do all of their damage in the time that Biotrap has the effect to do extra damage. Then as far as talents, I have these two talents that improve the protective membrane. This increases the damage, and this decreases the cooldown the longer I hold it down, so I can block more. And I have accelerated synthesis, increases my catalyst. Catalyst is the energy you use that fuels your abilities. Loading dose lets you use stimulator injection twice a row. This is that ability here. It's this you would also use on your kinetic right before he goes into his rotation to increase all his stats by 80% of your stats. And this talent will allow you to do that twice in a row, so you can throw out this huge buff at the biotrap to really stack on the damage and take down those anomalies, big bosses, things like that. Then defense algorithm improves your protective shell so that it absorbs one attack fully, and if it's destroyed, it immediately recharges no more than once. Then this gives you more maximum catalyst and gives you 100 points every 2 seconds, so it does a lot for your energy generation. This gives you a 50% chance that toxic emission can be used again for free. So that's this AoE where you spray chemicals everywhere. It helps you just spam that ability to get rid of enemies around you without running out of energy. Then steadying effect, when you use your alchemical terminal ability, which is this one here, spawns a terminal that if people use it, they will be invincible for 4 seconds. And this adds the additional effect of immune to crowd control, as well as damage. So that's my kind of group support burst damage build for the Alchemist to take on the toughest content, raids, things like that. You'll usually have a couple Alchemists running this to stack on some really high burst damage when it's available. You'll be on TeamSpeak with your group. They'll call out when they're going to do it. You coordinate the abilities and you hit them for as much damage as you possibly can. This build also works pretty well for soloing. And there are a few other abilities you could use for more AoE damage instead of the burst damage build, which I'll look at here. So, Janus Essence. I've played around with this one as well. It makes an area around you that slows enemies and allows you to dash farther. But if you pick up this talent here, Intense Reaction, it will let you and all your allies in the area, if they get a critical hit, it will do extra AoE damage around that enemy. So it stacks more critical damage on your enemies. That can be useful in some situations. It's hard to place, it's not a huge area, but that is a pretty viable option if you wanted to go that route. And then there's also this massive transformation that has a 5-minute cooldown, which will let you and your allies turn into mutants and do more damage. For the Alchemist, at least I know it gives you only melee abilities, so it kind of disables all your other abilities while you're transformed, but it will allow them to do more damage. And if you get this side effect talent, it will reduce damage by 80% in a 15-yard radius around you. So it could be useful if you have other alchemists in your group that are running your biotrap and your stimulant already. So if you want to soften them up a little bit with the right click, and then get a couple explosions off. And then finish them off with your point blank AoE skill, like so. The ultimate on the Alchemist is one of the only heals in the game, besides consumables. It will restore 40% to all allies in a 40-yard radius. So you kind of shoot up in the air and spew healing chemicals everywhere. Like this, kind of float around, and you heal and remove conditions on people. But it has a really long cooldown of 8 minutes, as you can see. So it's not considered a heal. You don't want to be considered having a healing class in this game. So that's it for my Alchemist build. It's a great support class. If you team up with a Lightbinder, you can stack all your different buffs and skills together. But usually people will prefer an Alchemist if they're going with just a few supports for that damage burst potential for raids and bosses. And so that's it. Thanks for watching, and enjoy playing the Alchemist.